What's good, y'all? So the following advice that I'm about to give, I will 100% admit is very risky for the people that are not head first into this law of attraction manifestation game. All right. It's like, because the following that I'm about to give is some very, very terrible financial advice. Okay. But hear me out and I'm going to explain. Y'all know I ain't going to lead you astray. All right. So in the past few months, as I've been talking about on my channel, it's like I went through a phase of unemployment. I lost my job, and it was okay for a little bit until you start to have to pay those rent payments. And rent out in Colorado don't make no damn sense. All right, so it's just like rent. La 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 rent, and it's like every time it was just like a chunk out of my account. It's like, gosh, can I not pay rent ever again, please? You know what I'm saying? This is why you need to develop a side hustle, things that became very important to me during this period of my life. A side hustle, or you need to be making moves for your financial security in the future. One of the two, you figure out what you got to do in your life. All right. So what I started to realize was I became hyper vigilant of every cent that was leaving my account. Now, don't get me wrong, that's just like being financially responsible. But it was a little bit more than just paying attention to it. It was like me starting to obsess over it, starting to harp over it. Every time I had to pay something, it's just like, oh God, I gotta pay this again. But what does that mindset of like losing money imply? That's a lack mindset. Because if you were truly abundant, if you had believed that your manifestation was going to come into fruition, why would you be worried? When I always tell people, when it comes to manifestation, you have to see something that is already finished, already complete. You already have whatever it is that you want, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I was having a little bit of a war with this, and that's why I said this is very risky advice if you're not all the way in with this game, all right? Every time I went to the store to just get me a little snack, I went to the store, got me a little snack, cool. That'd be $15. Wait. You're in abundance. You're live in the world of abundance. Okay, no, 15. Everything I send out will be returned to me multiplied. This again, don't get me wrong. It took a couple of months of this, And when things really started getting dicey for me, I had to hit like a make or break moment. Say, all right, look, something's got to give here. Either like this manifestation stuff is like a little bit more conditional than I thought, or I have to really just take that leap of faith and just say, you know what? It's going to work out for me. It's going to work out for me. And what it was for me is like I kept giving myself that reminder. If you were truly abundant, would you be worried about buying that? If you were truly abundant, would you be worried about doing this right now? And that was like the thing that kept me on task. It kept me on the right frequency. Me asking myself that question over and over and over. Do you believe that you are abundant? Do you believe that wealth is coming to you? Do you believe that everything is going to work out for you? Do you believe that that you always come out on top? Because you ain't acting like it right now when you get nervous to spend $10 on a little bit of a snack, to even spend $30 on your favorite dish that brings you the most happiness in this world, which is that El Salvadoran dish pupusas, the vegan pupusas with the beans, zucchini, and the loroco in it. Oh my God. Like when they get that nice level of salt on it, they make them perfect. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? And I found myself, and don't get me wrong, it's like from the negative, you could turn something into a positive. But during this period, I started to have like a stress eating situation, because like, even though I'm trying to stay high vibrational, stay motivated, stay, hyping myself up, stay, it was still like that little thing that you notice when your numbers keep dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, rent, dropping, and you be, okay, I want to believe, but it's just kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? And what I noticed though is like that was my final leap of faith. I remember like a day I spent like $35 on those pupusas. That was my leap of faith moment. Because mind you, when you're watching your money drop and you're like, I have 3 months saved up. I have 2 months. I have 1 month. Ooh, I need to start watching my money. You know what I mean? I said, you know what? I have full faith in this. If this blows up in my face, it is what it is. I'm going out with a bang. So I bought this thing, and some of y'all say, like, oh, $30, that's nothing when your money's going down and you ain't got no income coming in. I'm just saying, So for me, this was a leap of faith moment. And don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed that meal. Because to me, it almost felt like my last meal, almost felt like my last supper type of thing, because I gave up. I gave up trying to control things with my human thinking, and I just passed it on to the higher vibrations. I passed it on to the ether, the astrals, your God, Jesus, whoever. I just gave up. I gave up all of my control over this. I just said, hey, at this point, it is what it is. Let's see if I'm about to get hit by this truck. You know, you're sitting here waiting for the truck to hit you, and then you realize it stopped right in front of you. That's what happened. When I gave myself that final test, you know, I didn't stop myself from buying the snacks that I wanted. Even though it was a negative association like stress eating, it was one of those things that I was also using to test my faith in this practice called manifestation, understanding the law of attraction, the law of liberty, the law of assumption, the law, all these things I've been learning about, you know, and it was just one of those things that it just cemented it for me that I'm always going to be okay as long as I continue the faith, as long as I know, not believing, not having faith, not hoping, but knowing that my manifestation is always going to come at the perfect time. You know, bought that last meal, enjoyed it as if it were my last. But even after that, like, I still continued buying my little snacks here and there. Whenever I felt the urge, go get me a little bit of falafel, you know, like $6. Go get me like a bag of chips and a cookie, you know, another $5 to $7, $8, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't slow down. But I just knew that this was going to be my last big meal for myself. Not shortly after this like leap of faith moment, like a week or two after, I got the call like that for a job that I didn't even apply for. Now, don't get me wrong, I had originally applied for a job with the company, and I was like, that's not going to be it. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a situation, but I'm not going to sell myself short. You know, so I said, hey, look, I ain't got time to be waiting on y'all. I'm gonna keep on moving for new opportunities. But then out of nowhere, the people called me and said, hey, we got you this job, and like, we know that you had a salary for XYZ, but they were actually counter offering it with this. Well, I was like, whoa, that's more than I even, what? All right, say less, you know? And that just goes to show that your manifestation is always going to come at the perfect time. You know, it's like, so just have that faith. Now, like I said, this is terrible financial advice. If you are like someone that's not fully fledged into this manifestation game, if you do not have belief, if you're still kind of side-eyeing it, if you still find yourself trying to assist the manifestation, if you're someone that's biblical with it, if you're trying to assist God by bringing in blessings into your world, then you don't have the belief system necessary to really have, like, you know, like, you don't have that belief, you don't have that level of faith before you get to the level of knowing, right? All the practicing, all the testing, all of that is to develop the level to get to the knowing that your manifestation is always going to come at the perfect time. You know, we as our little human minds, we're always like, you know, we're still on timetables. Well, it's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a year. It's been 2 years. It's been 5 years. I don't think this works. But then whenever that manifestation comes into fruition, it's always like, whoa, all of that was necessary to get me to this point. All of that was necessary to get me to this euphoric, you know, almost epiphany moment of like, wow, it happened. Holy crap. And the more that you start to get into the state of knowing, and knowing, once again, 100% belief, faith, hope is like 40, 50, 60, 70%. Knowing is a 100% guarantee that your manifestation is going to come every time. And sometimes you have to take that leap of faith moment. Sometimes you have to, and once again, this is why I always preach to people, you have to be willing to accept the consequences of your actions. So with me, I was very, I was ready. I was like, hey, if this is it, this is it. You know, hey, mom, dad, I'm coming back home for a little bit. You know, it is what it is. You know, I was ready for it. I accept the consequences of my actions. I accepted the fact that this might be embarrassing. I accepted the fact that this might be a blow to me, you know, a blow to my ego as a person, as an individual, as a young person out here, and as a man, that damn, I can't even provide for myself right now. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I was ready for that. I had fully accepted that, okay, this is the bad. If things don't happen right, this is what's going to happen. Okay, I am accepting of that. I am agreeing to the terms and conditions. I read through the terms and conditions of this agreement that I am setting with the ether, the higher dimensions of this manifestation game. But if this works, though, I'm going to be on a new level of belief, a new level of knowing with this manifestation stuff. I promise you it's real. You know, this stuff happens so naturally. It just feels like it was going to happen anyway. That's manifestation for you. You know, not everything is going to be a beam of light and an angel carries down like $10,000. Lord, here you go, my child, goodbye. It's not going to be like that every time. It's going to happen in a nice, natural way. But who cares if it happens in a grand way or if a very simple, little natural, almost if it was going to happen type of way? It happened. And where some people will have given up, where some people will have fed most of their energy into failure, I still went into the astrals. I went into my spiritual practice. I went into my belief system. I went into my sense of knowing. And I was like, you know what? This is going to work for me. I don't know how it's going to work, but that's above my pay grade of understanding. I don't need to know. As long as it happens like at the right time, that's all I need. So I'm not saying right now, go out there and just start buying stuff because, by bing, bada boom. No, you still need to be, once again, have that abundance mindset. Now, that might be different between you and me. Once again, you have to sit with yourself. What does abundance mean to you? For me, it's not where it's like literally saying, like, I could walk up to somebody and say, how much is that? And they could say 50 grand. I'm like, oh, okay. I got you. Boom. Never even have to look at my account. Some people would see abundance as me being fiscally responsible. I have my resources and I manage them appropriately. Cool. Once again, make it your own. But once you identify a certain term like freedom, liberation, abundance, wealth, happiness, comfort, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, and you have that nice, clear and clean definition of that in your mind, then make sure you never stray from it. How are you abundant? Like, if I were to be abundant and I'm someone that doesn't think I need to be checking my account like that, make sure I got enough in there, make sure everything's cool, make sure I didn't lose a random sum of money, but for me to be always watching and have my spreadsheets watching, to me, that makes it feel like I'm scared of losing a cent. To me, that's the opposite of abundance. So I'm just giving y'all my interpretation of it when yours could be different, so am I still holding up to my belief? Am I still holding up to the thought form of abundance in my mind? Am I still carrying the frequency of abundance that resonates with me? Yay or nay? Am I acting like that in my day-to-day world? Are my thoughts reflecting abundance? Because even with me still having that little fear in the back of my head, that little sense of worry, I was able to cast that aside, cast those burdens on the higher levels. I don't care if it's angels, gods, deities, extraterrestrials. I don't care who's looking out for me. Someone heard my order and they helped me out. You know what I'm saying? Are you keeping the faith? Keep the faith until you get that sense of knowing. And after this, like I already said, after that leap of faith moment, and after that this law has proven itself to me in my world, you can't tell me nothing no more. Till next one, y'all. Peace.